Hey everybody, this is Perch. I've got a question on kind of related to the comments in some of the videos, to be honest, and kind of this is a why do people do what they do kind of question, which means I'm not going to have a great answer because I don't pretend to know that, and uh, people increasingly do random things and make absolutely no sense. But let's get into this mail. It says, "Hey Perch, like your show, not love. I'm falling. Mumbles. People are starting to listen to you. You're uh, you're turning them around. Anyway, hey Perch, I like your show. I am a bit concerned about some of the comments that I see in your videos. All right, now you may think this is going in a control, what is it, the night letter, not night letter, concern trolling, concern trolling. There you go. But it is not. I actually read ahead on this mail. It's not going in that concern trolling. But I always get that kind of vibe when somebody's like, "I am concerned by something that is happening within your orbit." Always feels a little bit like I'm about to get some kind of subtle lecture. But no, not coming. All right. Whenever you review a comic, and I wish you would review comics more because those are some of my favorite videos to get your thoughts, even when I don't agree, you present your case in an intelligent manner, and I appreciate what you do. Thank you. But what I also see is several people in your comments often feel like they have to insert how much they hated it or how much they loved it purely because of the arguments and ideology around it. For example, if you're going to talk about anything Marvel, there is a 100% bet that some people are going to show into your comments talking about how Marvel is trash and filled with woke ideologues. When you did your Robin video, I noticed both types on full display. Some group of comments were talking about that Nova issue like it was the worst thing in the world. It was a bad it was a bad comic. Yeah, it was a bad comic, but your point, I think, was that the panels and the ham-fisted ideology was ridiculous. That is true. That is true. The art was actually quite, pretty good in that little short story, but it was as subtle as a brick. This was where it was in the Marvel Voices thing, and Nova comes across an alien race is trying to deport illegal migrants because they're dirty, filthy people. And then, they learn that the illegal migrants, accidentally unleashed a virus, but now they're trying to do the right thing. And so all they had to do is kind of understand each other, and then peace and harmony kind of existed. It was painful, it was Captain Planet levels of subtle. And, I think that comic readers, by and large, are relatively smart. So I think they can handle a more complex message. And I mean, certainly, V for Vendetta, Watchmen, the Swamp Thing. There's plenty of messages in those stories. There's an ideology. There's discussions of fascism and other things in those comics, but it's not dumbed down to a fourth grade level, not fourth grade, 4-year-old level. This is the Paw Patrol of Watchmen. It's like if Alan Moore wrote for Paw Patrol, which now I'm strangely fascinated to see what that would look like. But anyway, that's kind of the problem with a lot of this stuff. It's not that somebody's not saying, hey, here's a way to look at, illegal immigration and migration and, the kind of initial hate that people might have that, has more nuance. I mean, look, do a good story like that. One of the cool things I liked about comics through the 80s, through the 90s, was that you could get something that was like popcorn level, Transformers comic, Avengers. You get that Masters of Evil storyline I'm always going on and on about being so incredibly good in the Avengers. But that was not a deep storyline. It was a well-written storyline. It was full of action, adventure, and it was fun. At the same time, you've got V for Vendetta out there, which is a completely different beast. And I love the fact that I had both. And the fact that V for Vendetta was there was complexity to it. There was nuance to it. It was storytelling. As opposed to, there being an evil Ronald Reagan robot that is trying to, to hurt minorities and force feed jelly beans to everyone. It's just that's I just want my comics to be smart, or at least attempt, not be really stupid with their with their propaganda. And I will say for the offset, I like it when I read something with some complexity to it and some thought to it, on a topic I don't agree with, because it feels like I'm getting some depth, some nuance, some additional information. It's good. I do think comics need more of the right wing point of view put in them from time to time, but done in as with complex storytelling, thoughtfully, not I'm owning the libs or that's no better to me than Modoc Trump. I don't want to see some of those to balance it out. Somebody was telling me, or there was a comment in one of the videos a while back. There's still more to this letter, by the way. I need to get back to it. But there's a comment that goes, I want to see an equal amount of right-wing talking points in the comics to balance out the last several years of SJW talking points. No, I don't want. No, this isn't a game where we have to tally it up to keep score. I just want to see good content. I'd like to see the dumbness of it, any politics, any ideology, any side, go away. That is the problem with some of the crowdfunding books that come out. They are, again, as subtle as a brick. They're the equivalent of that Nova story, just in the other direction, where it's like, you got some purple-haired, woman chanting about pronouns, but she's a hypocrite, of course, and actually racist, and then our hero has to punch. But it's like, do it well. Do the ideology well. That's all I'm asking. And again, we know it can be done because it has been done in the past. But anyway, back to this mail. Viewers. On the other end of the spectrum, Nerdette, who I know is a former YouTuber. I don't think former. Nerdette is a current YouTuber, and I think doing pretty well. Has a lot more subs than I do. That Amber Heard thing really helped. She did a bunch of coverage on that. I brought a lot of people in, but I don't know what you mean by former. Anyway, she seemed to take the side that it was great, that the Robin comic was just fine. And she often does this. And so do a lot of other people. If it's an ideological comic, people step in to either say how much it was not bad or the worst thing in the world. Why do people do this? Why do they feel the need to do it? I've got $20 that say that the vast majority of these people have not even read the comic they're calling great or terrible. What do you think? Okay. What do I think? I think the culture war bullshit has so infected people's minds like a virus that they can't help themselves. And I think they naturally draw up battle lines to go at each other. And I think it kind of sucks if, you have an audience or you've got a bunch of people around you who think one way and you disagree and you say something and then you get you're a traitor, hell, look at the kind of stuff that a variety of people. I mentioned just some guy. He had a comment about the groomer language and everything else. It went against the grain of a lot of people that followed him, and he got and people were like, "No, I'm angry because blah blah blah." But look, let the guy have an opinion. You can hard disagree with that opinion. You can think the guy's given the opinion in a dishonest or whatever in a way that's demeaning. You could think all those things, but at the end of the day, let people have their opinion. Just and be true to yourself. I look, the one part about this that you can't know. I don't know how many people in the comments have actually read the book or not. I don't know if Nerdette has truly thought it was a good comic or bad comic. I don't know. I have to take her at her word, like all of you. I mean, in this sense, there's no value in me or any of us, quite frankly, trying to dig in to find out what somebody actually thinks about a comic review comment that was posted on a YouTube channel. Save that level of investigation to somebody you're dating, somebody you're going to work for, the person who's running for president. That's where you should really be very suspicious or even paranoid about what is this person's true intentions. But on Twitter, on Facebook, who cares? It doesn't. The thing is, it doesn't matter because I play it out this way. And by the way, I know some of you are going to disagree, and that's okay. But if let's say we'll keep using their decks. Why not? Let's say she actually hated that comic. She read it and was like, "This is vomit." But because she's like, I'm in disagreement or whatever with some of the CG people. I don't even know if that's true, but whatever. Because I'm on this other side, I have to say it's good. Or let's say I might want to interview Riley Rossmo at some point on my channel. So I can't say it's bad. And so she says something else. Okay. So she's like, oh, no, it's pretty good. I think it's all right. I think her comment was it was mid. I think it was bad. But again, that's why we all have different opinions and different things appeal to people, whatever. So let's say though she completely is lying. She absolutely hated it, and for real life she hates it. And let's say you somehow get evidence to prove she was lying. You find like a DM somewhere that goes, I hate this comic, but I can't say that because of X, Y, and Z, and so I'm going to say it's wonderful. And then you expose it to the world. You start a channel and you put this DM, like, I have hard proof that the comment that she said was not, what she actually thought. Then what? I mean, what's the best case scenario in that world? Like a bunch of her subs are like, oh my god, I didn't realize she wasn't telling the truth, and they unsubscribe. I mean, it seems like a meaningless victory because I don't think it matters. That's my point here. And then she has a channel. The people who are just like randomly commenting on videos, the screen name is like, puppy dog 743438, or big Deadpool boobs 59. I mean, like, who cares what? I mean, no, I mean, I am happy with the comments, but honestly, who cares whether this person is telling you the truth, exaggerating the truth? I mean, like, does it matter if you expose that person? What do they do? I mean, go get a new screen name, I guess, and then post some more. That's the challenge I always get to with this stuff, is it just doesn't feel like any of it matters in the slightest. And so there's a lot of energy and effort that go into, what's this person's true motivations? And so I'm not telling you have to do this. You do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. For me, I don't spend a lot of time worrying about what people actually think about this or that. I just don't care. I can't. So I have this opinion where when I see somebody post something, I'm like, I'm just going to assume this is how that person actually feels and react accordingly, and whatever. If it turns out it's all some kind of deep fake trick, okay, that's how the person wants to spend their day, I guess. I don't know. Don't matter. We are way too focused, though, overall, on the ideology. Like this, the culture war bullshit does have to come to an end. I understand it makes people money, which is why it exists. I understand the politicians absolutely effing love it because this is an easy way to fundraise. You've gotten our politics and a lot of that system to the same mental equivalent of the NFL, where it's like, all you have to do is kind of throw some red meat out, like the libs, and then you're going to get your base all frothy, and then they're like, oh yeah, let's go fight. And that's all it is. You have a lot of people, who will say stupid things, because that's what their base wants. That's what people who are coming to the video want. There's several YouTubers that come out there and just angrily rant about anything, and they desperately look day to day like, all right, what do we got to be? Is Marvel got any casting news out there? Is Amber Heard doing anything? No. Is shit? There's nothing to talk about. And so then it's like, that's where, it's like, I don't know, let's dig through the back issues, see if we can get people pissed off about America Chavez again. It's like, but it does have to end at some point, because as a functional society, you can't have just two sides, knee-jerk reaction looking at each other. What is the new prime minister of Italy, who is quickly labeled the biggest fascist since Mussolini and Hitler combined, which, again, that's insane. That's an insane comment. That is an example of people who do not know history and probably, scored low in school and were high most of the time, trying to let you know about, how, world events. But, she posts a tweet saying, hey, we stand with you, Florida. Sorry about your hurricane and all that shit going on, and Ron DeSantis, we're worrying about you or whatever. And it was benign, although, it was very quickly jumped on. So you read the comments, and it's just the nastiest shit you've ever seen in your life. And you could tell that the people who are responding don't know anything about anything that's going on. They just have been told this woman is a fascist, worst thing since Hitler. They see Ron DeSantis' name on there, and that's like jackpot. And and fuck Florida. So that's what the comments are like. They're like, we all hate Florida. You're a Nazi. You need to be in jail. I heard your father left you and was a drug addict. Just a bunch of bullshit. Anyone who's throwing stones about somebody being a fascist, awful person, and wants to bring up the father who was apparently on drugs, and it was very painful when she was like 1 or 2 years old, and they want to use that as some kind of gotcha. You're a scumbag. You can't sit here and say, the Republicans don't care about people. By the way, about your drug father. Like, you're a dick. Whoever the person is. Yeah, Ted Bundy. If when he was 1 year old, the father abused him, that's horrible. Yeah, you feel bad about that. That's probably why Ted Bundy became Ted Bundy. This isn't in defense of what he did, and I'm not comparing Ted Bundy to the Italian prime minister, but for fuck's sake. Anyway, this is the kind of people are hard trained at this point to just leap into this, and to help with that training, there's a vast number of bots that exist solely to make these kinds of comments and get people riled up. And that again, that has to end. Because it's making us all dumber. It's making people, throw comments in there just like, you know what? This comic has the gays in it, I think. Gays. This comic, at least my channel hasn't had as much of this. I know Zach's has. The Jews are the problem. Like, there's a bunch of people that show up there that do that on a regular basis. Like, fuck me. Anyway. There you go. I don't think I had a great answer. Why do people do this? Because they're being conditioned and trained to do this. Because if you really want to get into the conspiracy aspect of it, if we could just get people to think a little bit less, take their orders like good little sheep, whether right, left, center, whatever it is, and just continue the culture war like a Dallas Cowboys fan will claim that every single thing the other team did is cheating or breaking the rules in some fashion. And if Dak takes out a gun and actually murders somebody on the field, well, it's just, I don't know why the ref's getting after him for, roughing something. I mean, it's the more you can do that, the easier it is to milk money out of these people. The easier it is to direct their misfortunes because they're being taxed to death, or, the inflation is killing them, or, all these they have shitty health care, whatever happens to be going on in their lives can be neatly ducked and pointed at a big kind of faceless opponent. It's the MAGA people. It's MAGA people why you're, broker this year than last year. Oh, it's the SJWs is the reason why you're in this traffic, today. Anyway. All right. That's enough of that. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Guess that was all part of Evil Morty's plan. Evil Morty, can we stop flattering this guy? His plan was to monologue and fuck off. He basically threw a tantrum to announce he was quitting Twitter. Nobody quits Twitter.